The Durupınar site has long fascinated researchers, and this is because it's said to be the final resting place of Noah's Ark. Believers who've seen the photographs have said this is the proof they needed, and that these photos prove that a boat-shaped object now sits on this mountain. Various other images have been taken of the area, helping to fuel theories that more work needs to be done in order to find out what this thing is. A group of researchers claim they found proof that this was in fact once a giant boat. Back on the 25th of April 2010, a press conference was held in Hong Kong, and it was here that the researchers announced that they had found remains of Noah's Ark on the mountain, going on to detail that the discovery was made by a team of researchers from both China and Turkey. The discovery was welcomed with open arms by religious communities, with many of them saying that they knew that the Ark was on the mountain, but that this is the proof that they'd been waiting for. When the photographs were released, they surprised many people, as it did appear that the team had found large wooden structures. One scientist even said the following about the discovery: "As a scientist, I'm always cautious and somewhat skeptical of bold and spectacular claims, especially when made in defense of the Bible. Yet as a Bible-believing Christian, the thought of this wooden structure being the remains of the Ark was tantalizing." When the team were grilled by scientists, they said they had conducted the necessary experiments to come to this conclusion, saying that they had radiocarbon dated some of the wood. Young Wing Chung, one of the researchers, said the following about the discovery: "How can a ship be on a mountain? The only record of a wooden structure on Mount Ararat is Noah's Ark. So up till now I believe this is the most probable explanation. We don't have another explanation." The team also said that when speaking to government officials in Turkey, even they believe their findings, and have said that they think this is the final resting place of Noah's Ark. The researchers said that once the wood was obtained, it was carbon dated to be over 4,800 years old, further saying that they invited other scientists to come and look at their results. Some skeptics, though, are not entirely won over, and have said that some of the tests don't prove this is Noah's Ark. Another scientist was critical of the radiocarbon dating, saying that more tests need to be done, and that the whole event sounded like a setup. Although various scientists and researchers spoke out about this, the team carried on with their findings, and even published a paper titled "Exploration Team Successfully Venture Inside 4,800-Year-Old Wooden Structure on Mount Ararat. Experts and Turkish officials believe artifact is Noah's Ark." As of right now, many religious people believe this is the final resting place of Noah's Ark, while scientists have made some interesting points that suggest there's no way this is the Ark. Scientists aren't totally against some details of the story though. Some of the most unexplored regions on our planet are mountains. There's some people that make it their life goal to conquer these massive structures, whereas others are fascinated with what rests on these natural formations. One of the difficult things that hikers face when exploring these regions is navigating, and this is due to the overgrown wildlife, impossible to pass terrain, and the overwhelming danger of overcoming one of the biggest obstacles in nature. This has also led many to conclude that there are strange objects that can be found in these regions. Interestingly, in recent years, a few researchers have come forward and said that at one point in time, a great flood did happen on our planet, and that researchers and archaeologists have found proof of this. Recent discoveries by underwater archaeologists suggest that this event ended up sinking many cities. One such finding was made off the coast of Turkey, where researchers found traces of ancient civilizations dating back to the time of Noah. One thing that's interesting is many civilizations talk about a great flood, and some of these are even documented. Some scientists don't actually doubt that this happened, but have suggested it may not have been as massive as it's made out. For example, one theory is that the Great Flood could have been the flooding of the Black Sea, and researchers have said that rising water levels happened in this region around 7,000 years ago. Again, scientists know that there was an event that sank cities. After all, several underwater ancient cities have been discovered in recent years. It's the magnitude of the event that people can't seem to agree on. Even the Central Intelligence Agency would investigate the anomaly, with some documents suggesting that they couldn't come to a conclusive answer for what the object was. The document was called Noah's Ark and Mount Ararat, and it shows that the CIA did investigate the structures, and whether or not it was perhaps the smoking evidence that would prove that the Bible was real. Documents reveal the following. The CIA has a thick case file on the Mount Ararat anomaly. Over 20 years, numerous photos were taken, all to be classified as top secret. The files were first gathered back in 2006 by Professor Porgy Taylor, who submitted a Freedom of Information Act request. He said the following to Space.com. I've got a newfound optimism as far as my continuing push to have the intelligence community declassify some of the more definitive type imagery. I'm calling it my satellite archaeological project. I maintain that if this is the remains of something man-made, and potentially nautical, then it's potentially something of biblical proportions. End quote. The Central Intelligence Agency, though, have said it's nothing of interest, and people should trust their comments, saying that all it shows is glacial ice underlining more recently accumulated ice and snow. Various other images have been taken of the area, helping to fuel theories that more work needs to be done in order to find out what this thing is. There's said to be various sites on Mount Ararat where the structure can be found, and this has caused some to say that there may have been several boats. The idea behind these claims is that believers think the boat would have somehow survived on the mountain, with some theory suggesting that the climate on the mountain helped it to maintain some of its original shape. A cryptid is an animal whose existence is yet to be proved by science. Although that's the case, hundreds of cryptids have been reported by explorers and everyday people. In recent years, there's been a surge in reports of mysterious flying creatures. As with most of these encounters, though, it's usually rushed, which means that they're unable to properly document what happened and take photographs. One person, though, managed to photograph a mysterious creature they encountered in Pennsylvania. The incident happened on the 20th of May in Washington County, Pennsylvania. The report was submitted to various cryptid websites, but even they were stumped by what the person had captured. The witness said the weather was in the 50s and was sunny. The man said he was travelling north of US Route 40. He got distracted though as he saw something flying close to the trees, thinking at first that it could have been an aircraft. However, when he looked closer, he could see the wings were moving. The man said that as he approached the creature, it then flew over his car. He pulled over in order to get a better look at whatever this thing was. He thought that perhaps the animal was something like a large bat, as it resembled it when it was flying, but admitted that he wasn't sure what this thing was. When it landed, he decided to move closer in order to try and work out what this thing was. He noted that the creature had black fur over its body, and that its wings were similar to a bat's. A bat has one of the most flexible wing structures in the animal kingdom, with researchers saying that it's similar to a human arm, but instead it has a thin membrane of skin covering it. The eyewitnesses said on the day of the encounter it was bright, and due to the sun's rays hitting the creature, he was able to see through the membrane. The creature then flew up towards the back of his car, and at this point he wasn't the only other person observing it. Other cars had pulled over to investigate what this thing was, with the eyewitness saying that another man had parked his car down the road and got out and started taking photographs. Both men noticed that this creature was powerful, saying that with one flap of its wings it was able to lift itself between 15 and 20 feet. The man then said the creature spread its wings and that it reached from one side of the road to the other, which gives it an estimated length of 25 feet. This is the original photograph of the creature that was taken by one of the eyewitnesses when it was in the middle of the road, After a few minutes, he said the creature flew off above the tree line, saying that the man who took the images then ran after it into the woods, but he said he wanted to get out of there, because he thought this thing could have picked up a man if it wanted to. As of today, this is one of the clearest and best images we have of a flying cryptid. No bat would have been able to stand like this, and there isn't one that matches this creature's description and size. Some went on to call this creature the Beast of Pennsylvania, and said that for years people have been seeing mysterious flying creatures around the area, but noted that never has one been seen this close before. Some cryptid researchers who saw the image said you can even see the creature's skeleton through the membrane. Others theorized that perhaps this creature could be responsible for Mothman sightings that have been reported across the United States. There has been a growing number of individuals that have come together with new theories surrounding the Mothman and the possible nature of the creature. Given the fact that the strange encounters surrounding the creature have always been key in determining a future impending disaster, this has led many to believe that it may not be supernatural in nature, but rather that of a scientific advancement. After the encounters witnessed in the town of Point Pleasant back in 1966 to 1967, the Mothman creature would not return for another couple of decades, in which reported sightings of the creature were seen all over the world. Due to other events that have happened shortly after the Mothman had made itself known, people put forward the idea the Mothman was actually a creature that was trying to warn us about these events, suggesting the Mothman should have been listened to instead of feared. The Mothman also matches the creature that can be seen in this image, as it also has small facial features, large black wings and an overall human-like appearance. One skeptic though isn't buying the image, and said that it likely originally showed a bird, although it clearly doesn't now because the wings are off, and this suggests that it's been photoshopped. Others carried on from this and said that something may have been done to the photograph to make it look more humanoid. As of right now, there's still people that believe the creature is real, and that various eyewitness stories back up that something large is flying around Pennsylvania. Cryptid researchers have said that encounters with large flying creatures don't happen very often, but noted that more encounters are being reported. One of the most interesting places that allegedly houses some of these creatures is that of the jungles of our world. These isolated regions are home to thousands of undiscovered species, and it's been said that large flying creatures such as the ropen call this place home. Those who've seen the ropen have described it as looking like an ancient pterosaur, saying that it's very territorial and will even attack those that venture too close. In fact, early explorers would detail encountering large prehistoric birds that would swoop down and take out their bows, saying that locals told them not to go on the rivers or out at night as this is when they hunted. Modern day researchers have said that what people are seeing could have been an undiscovered species of bat, but locals and explorers have said that these creatures are different and didn't look anything like a bat. So what do you make of this photograph? Do you think it's genuine? And if not, what do you think it shows? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.